Hi everyone. I've been thinking, whilst I've been indoors now for the first week, I've been continuing with my studies and with my degree work, and so I've been reading lots. And I've thought, actually, there's lots of stuff here which I'm engaging with, which I think is really helpful and really useful to me in my everyday life, in this new way of life we're in, living indoors. And so I thought, what I'll do is I'll maybe put some of this stuff together into really short, bite-sized chunks that people might find useful. And so this is the first of what might be a few really short, what I've called Bible bites. So little thoughts on the Bible for how we can make the most of this new season of life indoors. So this first week, the passage that is what's been on my mind has been from Paul's letter to the Romans, the church in Rome, and it's from chapter 12, verse 1, and it's just that first verse. And it says this: I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. This is one of my favourite passages in the Bible, one of my favourite short chunks. I think it's also one of the easiest to misunderstand because it just doesn't sound normal. What does it mean to present your body as a living sacrifice? Our bodies at the moment are something that we're trying to protect. We're social distancing, we're washing our hands regularly, we're doing all these things to keep ourselves healthy. But what Paul is thinking of as he writes this is not primarily the body as it is physically, as a physical body. He's thinking about the body in terms of where we exist in the world and how we interact with it as embodiment. As the body is the place in which I interact with the physical world around me. The body is the place, the means by which I interact with other people. It's the means by which I interact with people online now. The body is fundamentally, for Paul, a relational concept. It's about relationships. When he talks about the body of Christ, he's talking about that network of relationships that is united in Jesus, that the church is the body of Christ. He's talking about the relationships there. And so when we read it again, but we think about the body as relationships, I think it comes out a bit differently. I'm going to read it one more time. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your relationships as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. My question, and perhaps my challenge for myself as much as anyone, is what does it look like in this time where we're closer to the people we know really well? Perhaps we live with a family, or perhaps we're seeing people online in a new way and we're not used to doing video calls and things like that. What does it mean to present those relationships, those interactions, as our spiritual worship? We can't meet together on a Sunday or any other day for what we would call worship, in terms of gathering together, someone preaching, someone leading some songs and all that stuff. But we can still worship. We can still worship from our homes, within our homes, with the people that we see online and the people we may live with. We can still worship, but we have to think about it differently. And in one way I think this helps us to do that is to help us think about what does it mean to treat the relationships in which I have as opportunities for worship. And so that's the thought that I'm leaving us with this week is what does it look like to see other people and to see how you relate to them as your way of worshipping God during this new and challenging time. Thank you very much. Look forward to the next one.